So Ruth, good afternoon. You're very welcome and thanks for joining us. Do you know, Ruth, when I was getting ready to chat with you and thinking about what we would chat about, you know, we've talked to lots of kind of well-known faces and voices over the day. I'm thinking of maybe that arching presence of your mom and dad, who I know and love dearly from the food industry, Rod and Julie. Growing up and now becoming an adult and being like this professional that you are yourself, is it difficult to be working alongside of them in terms of, you know, having a sense of presence and self-identity?
There's a question. I would have said 10 years ago it would have been very difficult because I didn't have a sense of my own identity. So I have spent a very ridges and pathways and byroads to come to where I am now, from going away and studying acting to going and being a director, and then eventually photography, and also in the food business, and finding out who I am, as twee as that sounds, and then coming back after that and really sitting down as an adult and talking to mum and dad and appreciating what they do, because you only appreciate something when you leave, if that makes sense. Like when I left secondary school here, I went over to England to study, and I really missed Ireland. And then actually after a year I went to America, and I really missed being in Europe, and I really was proud of being a European. So you really appreciate it just goes bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you get really, really proud of where you're from, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. With that in mind, can I take you right back to that secondary school and even the primary school environment? Talk to me about growing up in a place as fabulous as is Highbank Orchard, because myself and lots of our viewers here today, I'm sure, have wandered through those kind of gates, and that sense of opulence and that sense of, I always think it's such a sense of, you know, liberation and opportunity, because the best of things have happened, and that whole sense of nature is constantly evolving. And I've brought several groups of students up to meet your mom and dad, and that really sense of that core belief that they hold. Talk to me what it's like for that to be, for the shop to be your home. Do you know?
Yeah, I thought of it as normal. Yeah, like wherever you grow up, you think this is how. I thought everybody lived on a farm and had a pet peacock as their first pet, and sold Christmas trees, or like had family meals with the food was. I still think of where I get where my next meal is going to come from, and what like really good quality produce and everything. I thought that was normal. Not until I was living in a box room apartment in New York, I realized not everybody was fortunate enough to live in kind of this wonderland, if you will. And when I bring friends down, I appreciate it more and more, as you explained there, of walking through the gates and seeing this kind of the core values of food and the joy in your land and all that kind of stuff. I only realized that it's in my core, you know, and it was magical. Growing up in that is absolutely amazing. It's you want to build a tree house, you find some wood, and you start figuring out how to build it. We grew up playing on straw bales and everything like that. And your imagination, it's why I'm a photographer and I went into the arts and everything like that. And my brother is a project manager from building. My imagination was just let loose on a farm, because that's your playground. We weren't. If the word bored wasn't in the vocabulary, if we would have said we were bored, we had to put money in a jar, because they're like, there's something to do, figure it out. Do you know what I mean? And even with this pandemic, when you're at home and during lockdown and you're kind of going, I'm bored, there's always something. You're not doing nothing, and I still can't sit there. I actually, during lockdown, I got so much done because it's been like that since I've been a kid. There's something you can do. This always works.
For me, maybe on the outside looking in, I always feel the nucleus of Highbank Orchard is very much based and built around a word and a value that I value greatly, and that is integrity. I think there's an uncompromising sense of integrity about the product offering and, you know, the journey that it goes on around there. I'm wondering, and I'm interested about your other, in inverted commas, your other careers, the acting, the directing, photography, all incidentally, and I presume non-accidentally, based around, you know, creativity, culture, lifestyle. Did that sense of integrity come with you? Talk to me about the values that came with you, that spilled into your other world from Highbank, from that sense of growing up and that sense of belonging to a place with that wonderful offering.
I think, you know, the adage of so anything worth doing, you have to do it right, like, and really, really well, like, don't half-ass it, and that's what my parents have done with the business is they've really taken care of, through all their businesses, they've really taken care of doing really good quality produce that they're loyal to their customers. They'd be doing a disservice if they were doing subpar produce, you know, and they're very proud of what they offer. So for me, I've actually never thought about it, to be honest. That's a really good question, because I take a photograph and I'm very, very proud of what I present, and I take great joy when someone compliments that or finds it, because it's a piece of work. It sounds a bit like patting myself on the back, but it's a little bit of a work of art. You're creating something. Like when you create something in the kitchen and someone enjoys your food, you must take pride in your own work, or else what's the point?
Just as you're talking, just as a side, I remember a visit to your grand's house, and of course brimful of creativity as well in terms of her own artwork. Amazing. I'm just thinking there must be, like, the cup of inspiration must flow over in Highbank.
Our family are divided straight down the line with food and creativity. So my dad's mum was an actress. My cousin is an amazing artist. My granny's an artist. My grandfather was an artist. And then there's a lot of food as well. And I think it is brimming over, I suppose, when you kind of put down on the list, which is great.
Absolutely. Your role now and your career, Ruth, is seeing you coming back more and more towards Highbank. Tell me why. And I suppose in the back of my mind, I'm thinking of this sense of place, this sense of home, this sense of community. Do you feel it's important to be part of the community in your workplace of home, being the workplace, and being back in Kilkenny? What does it mean to you to be part of the tapestry of home now?
Of all of Kilkenny?
Yeah, of being in Kilkenny, and, you know, your business, a lot of your business offerings now in Kilkenny with Highbank. I
think it's hugely important. I mean, just go back to when I was training as an actor, they said ensemble is really important. Like you're an actor standing up on stage. It's not just you. There's the lights, there's the stage manager, there's the director, there's the writer, and there's the audience, which is possibly the most important part. You're not just you, so it goes into the same thing of community. We can make something, but then people's advice, people saying, no, I don't like that, no, I do, people promoting it, people using it, people taking joy in coming to the land. And Kilkenny is so supportive. I mean, people in Kilkenny shop in Kilkenny and are really proud of Kilkenny, you know, not just the hurling, like the whole lot of it, and it's beautiful as well. I mean, there's so many lovely walks and everything like that as well.
I'm getting that sense of, even with acting, you mightn't have thought of it, that sense of intrinsic involvement is so interesting. With regards to pride, and we focused a lot on pride today, and we all have different types of pride. We have familial pride, we have civic pride, we have a bit of moral pride and all of that sort of thing. I'm thinking of going to visit one of your friends or something, and you're on a sleepover, and you get up in the morning and there's like Highbank Orchard apple syrup for your porridge. How does that feel when you go into someone's house, or you go into a shop? We're here opposite the wonderful Kilkenny Design Centre, or lots of other stockists all around Ireland. How does it feel to see the Highbank name, the home name, that core home, that sense of home on the shelves, and think, oh, that's my mom, that's my dad, that's me, that's my business, this is who I am.
Yeah.
How does that feel in terms of your heart?
Oh, my cup runneth over, you could say. It's really, really proud. But there's the other side of me that is the constant pursuit of perfection, like where can we take it next? Where can we do this? You know, you take that moment of, this is fantastic what they're doing, but I'm the next generation, as is my brother, and you kind of go, where can we go with this? How can we make it better? Or what can I bring of my own talents? Because mum and dad are so creative and innovative of what they've achieved. So what's the next step? And the next step is always much more exciting than the present.
Of course, and the next step has actually happened because I have a tactile evidence of the next step at home, whereby you've married the two talents together, yours and theirs, and you've now added value, if you like, to the project in terms of the Highbank Orchard beautiful cookery book, which of course has all of your own writing. So again, it's the product is there and has the capacity to stand alone, but now it's complemented with really beautiful writing and obviously imagery of the highest standard with regard to photography as well. So it's kind of like the organic sense of progression as well that now you're going to bring to the fore.
Yeah, because that's what was kind of missing was a lot of people in Kilkenny know Highbank, but the story, getting the actual story of Highbank, I was in a focus group that no one knew about Highbank, about our alcohols, and it was behind that screen that you feel like you're a detective in a murder scene, but obviously they're not, they're looking at your product. But they didn't get the story from the bottle. And so then they showed a video of mum and dad on the farm and everything. So that's not on there. So that's the next step. So that's where that book, the idea of the book kind of came, of writing the stories of Highbank, because it is, and that's when I said I wouldn't appreciate it 10 years ago. The story of Highbank and the Calder-Potts family is really interesting, and it gives a lot of integrity to it. And we haven't told it. So that's where I'm working towards, of telling it with the products. Yeah.
And of course to see is to believe then as well, the evidence to back it up. Ruth, talk to me about Kilkenny. What is it for you, aside from Highbank? I know there's a very special penchant for that. What is it aside from Highbank that Kilkenny has to offer you as a person? Obviously you're gravitating home for kind of business reasons, but there has to be more in terms of people's lifestyle and people's, value on where they want to live in that sense of home. You're happy to do that here. Why does Kilkenny have a draw for you?
It's home in one word, but it's there's not just me. There's so many people of my generation, and maybe it was been generations past, that have gone away, and they're slowly trickling along back. And so you have that sense of community that having lived in other cities, you can't. They're friendly. Like Dublin is a very friendly city, but there's, I don't know. It's how can you put that into words? There's this. It's like a hug. Kilkenny's a hug.
Yeah, they've got that a bit throughout the
Do you know? It's a little bit of a hug. Very fact there's so many different festivals. You can walk down into Clears and probably see someone you haven't seen for 4 years, but know them and have a really friendly chat, which is an Irish mentality anyway. But maybe that sense of home for anyone that, if they're from, say, Kinsale or Kildare, when you go home, there's that kind of warm hug, and then it has so much to offer with the lovely restaurants, nature as well. So I live between Kilkenny and Dublin, and to go out to the mountains takes a little bit more time, and there's the lovely silence of a country town, and the darkness, and you can go out to walk up between Kilkenny and Bennett's Bridge, the walks like that, and you're in nature, if that makes sense. And I'm a big advocate of getting your feet out, and big hippie. Go out and just get your feet onto nature and walk around.
Absolutely, keep your feet grounded. But I think the graphic image of Kilkenny giving us a hug is a suitable place to leave it.
What does it offer? A
hug.
hug.
Absolutely. And what do we all love? A hug.
And we haven't been able to do it for ages. That's probably
we've been starved of it, but we're not starved of it in Kilkenny, and that of course is the image of it all. Listen, the very best of good wishes to you and the Calder-Pott family at large, who are, in my opinion now, again I know I'm biased, but are bastions of integrity and, you know, believe so wholeheartedly in what they're doing and do it in a very uncompromised way, and really just showcase the best that they have to offer and believe that that core value is hugely important. So good wishes, keeping that candle going.
Thank you very much.